Okay, so I have got my leg of my jeans and cut them in a 2.5-inch strip, ironed them in half, raw edges together and wrong sides together, opened them out, put the raw edges to the center where the fold is, and then folded it in half. And I just put clips on so you can see exactly what I've done. So I've made a big long string, and this only needs to be 1.10 m, but I'm just doing the whole piece to show you. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to be enclosing a zip, and we're going to be doing the same thing on both sides. And so you need about a 50 or 55 centimeter zip, and you need to clean finish this edge here. Okay, so how you do that is you just get a piece of fabric, doesn't have to be perfect, just a piece of fabric, and on the right side you're going to lay it down here, and you're only going to sew not where the plastic is, because it will just break a needle. You're just going to sew across here. You're going to turn this over, and you're going to sew just across here to hold it, and this is going to be enclosed in here. Okay, so every zip, there's going to be 4 zips for this project. So every zip, the end, you are going to finish off the same way, and you can choose any fabric to do it. So this piece of fabric here is about 3 3/4 inches long, and as long as it's wider than the zip, it's fine. Okay, so I have got one I prepared earlier. Look at this. So here is my 55 centimeter zip, and I'm going to just sew this across the bottom and turn it over and top stitch it. So to do that, I am going to use, it doesn't matter what foot at this stage, but I'll put black thread on. I don't want to use white thread. So I have got my little containers here, which is great, with my bobbins in. So I'm going to get a black bobbin, and in my little drawer, my second drawer, is my black thread. I'll just get a small black thread, and I'm going to put that on my machine. So remember, cut your machine thread there. Make sure your foot is up before you pull your thread from the top down. And I should put that in my little stash for my threads. Take this thread off, and guess what? Wind it up. Because here's what I do. I end up using like 20 threads a day, and if I don't wind them up, I end up with this big mess that the cat plays with. So wind them up as you go. Unwind this one. I always have the thread coming off the back. Go onto there, and thread with your needle up and your foot up. Okay, when you get to here, you can put your foot down, because this bar, when you thread it, will automatically put your foot down if you don't anyway. And there I've threaded my needle. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just I will put the zip foot on because it will be easier. The zip foot is here. So the zip foot is number 4D, and I'm going to tell my machine, I go up to here and go number 4, and I'm going to put 4D on, and the D just means dual feed. And if I leave my needle position, can you see this has gone red? That means that I'm going to break a needle. So I just move my needle position. Which way am I going to move it? Move my needle position to the left. There you go. And so I can sew it. Now I'm going to take out my bobbin, and I'm going to put in a black bobbin as well. So you're going to learn a lot of techniques making this project. You do not have to make the project, but you'll learn techniques and different things you can do with zips and cords and all sorts of things. So you do not need to make it, but it is a fun project and you might like to make it. So remember, I'm just going to go on to my little bit of fabric here first. Always make sure everything's fine. My stitch length can stay on normal stitch length. It doesn't matter. It's sewing fine. I don't need to worry about anything jamming up. Put that back because I always forget. And I'm just going to sew literally to the teeth and on the other side of the teeth. You can also have in this container fray check. Now fray check is going to stop that zip from fraying. I might actually put it on now so it's got time to do its thing. So I'm just going to run this on the bottom like that. That will never ever fray now. That's going to dry and that will stop that from fraying. It's a brilliant product. Very badly cut, Robin. There you go. Oh, now I've got gunk on here. My beautiful Tula pink scissors. So I'm just going to close that up. And these new bottles, they do not dry out. They're brilliant. So the Fray Check is the one that dries clear, not milky, and they last forever. Really do. So now I'm going to I'm going to turn it around and say this way so it can dry. So now I'm going to move my needle position to the other side because I've got it on this side, and I'm going to move my needle position this side. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. And I'm going to take my pin out, and I'm going to run my foot along that edge, and I'm just going to stitch and go back. And I'm just going to go up to the plastic and go back, and then go up to the plastic, and then I'm just going to lift my needle up, lift my foot over, and I'm just going to go down this side and cut. Okay, so all I've done is gone either side of the plastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this all the way over. I'd wait for that to dry normally. Wrap this all the way over, and I am going to top stitch it. So this is the right side here, so turn it over to the right side. Now I don't want black thread. See my dilemma? Every time I sew, when I'm doing things like this, I have to use all the right colours or else it just annoys me. So now I'm going to take this out, put my bobbin there, take my thread off the top, because even though it's going to be a 2mm stitch, I still have to put the right colours on because it'll just absolutely bug me. So now I need maybe a mauve or a purple. Oh, there's a mauve. A mauve would be better. I'm going to stitch that in mauve, and I'm going to see if I've got a mauve bobbin. Where did I put my other bobbins? I've got 2 of these, and I've put, oh, there it is. Yep. You can guarantee I've usually got something, even though that's different, it's still going to go with that. So I'm going to put that in the bobbin and that in the top, because the colours all go together. It doesn't matter. So I do like to change colour when I'm making something. You're not even actually hardly going to see any of this, but I can't help myself when I'm doing it. You might as well do it right if you're going to do it. Remember, wind. See, this is a bad habit of mine. Wind it up, or else you end up with a big mess at the end of the day. And if you have ever been into my studio, which I'm in today, I do get into a big mess when I'm making a project. And sometimes it stays like that for quite some time till I get time to clean it up. And I much prefer it to be tidy. And if I could have a little sewing angel, I would have a sewing angel, and they could do all my tidying and I could just make a mess. It's brilliant. So I'm going to cut my bobbin thread. I'm going to sew so my bobbin thread comes up to the top so it's ready to sew onto my zip. Ready to go. Now remember, I'm not going to go right across. I am just going to sew from the edge of my fabric. Take my pin out. I'm going to hold my thread. I'm going to go basically to one more stitch and reverse and go forward. Lift my needle up, jump over, put my needle down, go forward, go reverse. See, I actually can sew slow when I want to. And then I'm going to sew to the end of my fabric, and I'm going to lock that off. Okay, so I have now made my zip end. Now look what the result you get. So here's my zip end. It's nice and tidy, and now I just cut it here and cut it here. And I've got a really nice zip end, and I want you to do that to all your zips. Okay, there's 4 of them. There's 2 that are either 18 or 20 centimeters long, and there's 1 that's 50 or 55 centimeters long. Now what you're going to do is you're going to measure down from the top raw edge, and in fact you can turn that under, or you can fray check that and leave it raw because it's going to be re-stitched later. So if it's a denim, I'm going to leave it like that. If it's a drill, I'm going to turn that under. Okay, so then you've got your beautiful fold here already. You're going to measure down 4.5 inches. You're going to tuck this into there so the raw edges are right in there. You're going to tuck this in like that, and you're going to top stitch on this edge, and I'm going to use a beautiful thick thread which is an Oriful number 12 weight to do this. So I'm just going to steal these back, and I just go and put my clips on there. And I've previously started this one, so you don't have to watch me going all the way to the end. So I'm now just going to stitch from here to here. Now you can do a couple of things. You can put your zip foot on now, which is on. How brilliant. So I can use my zip foot. You can match up the back with a navy thread, which I think I'll do because I've already started doing that. So I'm going to put a navy thread in my bobbin. So you can see I do a lot of chopping and changing of thread. Oh, now one thing is, when you're doing this thread, you want to put a bigger needle on, and I previously put a big needle on. So you can use a top stitching or a jeans denim 90 needle for using the thick thread. And yeah, I'm going to leave my zip foot on. I'm going to move my needle position to the left, and I'm going to stitch it on like that. And then I'll show you next video that you can also do it with your number 10 foot. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm putting this beautiful thick thread on top. So this is Oriful 12 weight, and it's made in Italy. It's a beautiful thread, and I'm using it a lot in this project. Oh, pull your thread out that you've previously used. Keep that for your threads so you can make something cool with it later on. Now, one thing you are going to need to do when you're doing this is you can't always thread the needles with this thick thread. You may need to change it. So I'm going from here down. So I'm going to put my needle position to the left, but I'm going to lengthen my stitch length out. So my stitch length's on 2.5, and I'm going to lengthen it out to 280 because I can't remember what I did, but it's going to be roughly that. And I could have a bit of a look. I could see if that looks similar to what I've previously done, because normally you do this all at once. Yeah, that looks pretty darn close. I might go 290. There we go. So I'm going to go from the very top now, and I'm going to stitch with my needle position to the left. So I'm going to put the foot up, put my needle down. Can you see the beauty of having this fabric? Because I can now pull this, and I've got tension to start it sewing. Once it's started sewing, see, I've got my jewel feed on. It's going to feed nice and evenly, but I needed something to start it sewing because otherwise I've got nothing to hold on to. All right, now it's going to feed beautifully. And I'm stitching right down beside that. So remember, I stitched this in the right colour. You're not even going to see it because it's tucked in, but I like to do it anyway. So I'm just top stitching it down to where I'm meeting. And this is my old pair of jeans. And when I come to meet it, I can do one of two things. I can back stitch it, but I think I'll just lock it off because I don't want to have a big thick piece. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to I for information, and I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that on this one. On your machine, you may need to go to I and push the knot, but on my machine, I've got the knot externally here. So I'm just going to push the knot, and it's going to knot in one place, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to push the scissors, and it's going to cut. because I haven't got it set to do it all at once. So now I'm taking this out, and you can see now I have got this stitched in all the way down, and my zip can go up and down, but my zip won't fall off the end because I've put my lovely bit of fabric. Okay? Now you're going to do the same to the other side. So now I can decide which part of my zip end I want here. So I think I'll match my joins. Can you see I've got a join on this side? I think I'll match my joins and put it on the same side, the same look. So even though it's a different colour fabric, I'm going to match up my joins exactly the same and put my clip there, open my zip out so I can put my jeans in there like that. And that can go all the way from there, all the way up to here, like that. And I will cut this because that's the same length. And that will go away for another thing. So now I'm just going to sandwich my zip in there. And get my clip's right in front of me. And clip it. And come into here and clip it. Take my clips out. Make it nice and tidy. And there. And I'll be cutting this bit off to match the same as the end. Okay. So easy. So we're going to sandwich this on and we're going to sew it exactly the same way as we did before, all the way down there. Now this is the one I'm making with the recycled jeans, okay? Now have a look at the other one I'm doing. So this one is exactly the finish you're going to get, and I have done this with cotton drill. So for this one, I've chosen a purple zip. I've finished off my end exactly the same. I've top stitched it with actually the same purple thread. No, I use this purple. I use this purple Oriful thread and I've top stitched it, but I decided to do both sides. Okay? Now because this is drill, I've turned in the raw edge and I've top stitched it all the way to the end. So I want you to end up with either a fabulous zip enclosed in 2 bits of fabric, which is very random, and the zip can open all the way to your fabric finish like that, or your recycled jeans. You only need one, by the way, I'm making 2, or your recycled jeans with your zip enclosed like this. So that is step number 2 after making your piping. And then you're going to do how much longer have I got? I'm just going to check my timing. I've got some more minutes. And then this is going to be all quilted. Now this fabric here, this product, is called Faster Fuse, and you can see it's shiny on both sides. So what we're going to do is choose the fabric we want for this part of our project, and we're going to end up quilting it. And there's the Faster Fuse, it's enclosed in the fabric, and we're going to end up piping, and we're going to end up with a finished result like this. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to sandwich your fabric around this product. We're going to learn how to triple cross hatch it, and then your piping you've previously made is going to be piped in this shape all the way around here, and then I've just put the clips on to show you, because this is going to be the inside of something and it will have fabric on it, so we don't need to we don't need to finish that off, because it's going to be all inside something. In fact, I think definitely put fabric on the back as well, because it's going to make it really strong. So this is what we want to end up with, and this is what we start with. So this particular one is going to be my denim one. So I'm going to find a really nice piece of fabric. I think I'll use this colour. And it doesn't matter which grain you're going to go on as long as you like the look of it. But you see, I need to get, oh yep, there we go. I need to get enough fabric from my jeans to cover this whole piece of fast diffuse, and it doesn't matter what I put on the back. So I'm going to use this little bit of denim. And the best thing about this product, which I absolutely love, is when I go to the iron, I think I don't know why, it's just so clever. When I go to the iron and iron that down, just get rid of the excess because you don't need it. Okay, so when I go to iron this down, watch this. This is iron on, right? But when I put it down, move that so you can see. When I place this down here and I go to iron this onto here like this, the heat is not going to transfer it onto here. It's clever. It's just going to fuse this on. It's really amazing. So it's very clever. It's not going to iron that onto there. I say that in very good faith. All right, so I'm using up my old jeans. I could put jean fabric on the other side of this, I suppose, if I had spare. I could just use another pair of jean. Actually, I might. Just might use another part of the jean or the other jean on the other side. So iron that onto there. Cool, eh? Really good. And then turn it over, and I might just chuck another piece on. What have I got? I got a piece. There we go. I'll just throw that down the ground because that's what I do. And I'm just going to iron this onto here, and I can cut it afterwards because you can just make sure that you've got enough fabric. And let's have a look. Yeah, that's going to fit. So I'll grab this. Oh, don't drop your iron on the ground. I'm just going to cut this. I love creating things that aren't the normal, and this one is quite different. This is what I like to do, and this is what I do when I'm mucking around in my sewing room. I like creating things that are a little bit different, and I don't have a pattern, so I am just making it up as we go. And I've made a pattern for you, but I have not got a pattern. I'm just making it up as I go. So now you want to add quite a bit of heat. And when you're using a little iron like this, have it on the highest heat. Don't have it on steam. And just hold it down and count to 10. And then move it along to the next one. With your bigger iron or an iron press, you can have it done very quickly. Now it's no big deal because you're going to be stitching both sides. So decide which side you like as your main side. This is quite interesting. As your right side. And then you can put your thicker thread, or you can have a thinner thread and triple stitch it, whichever you like to do. So I think I'll triple stitch this today, and I think I'll use the darker side. Will I? Yeah, this is quite interesting, this side. I think I'll use that side as my main side. It's not heated enough yet. So I'm going to choose a coloured fabric. Now remember, I'm making this as my accent fabric. So I want to choose a thread that's going to be really colourful and bright, that's going to coordinate with that. So I'm just going to go into my drawer of colours, and I think I quite like the look of that even. But then I'm using a lot of purple. Maybe I should just stick to purple. But I like being a little bit outrageous with things like this because that is going to make a big difference to the finish of it. Or bright orange. Decisions. Now all I want you to do to this, oh I need more heat on it, is get it all prepared, and then when I come back to show you how to quilt it, you're going to need two things. You're going to need some quilting guides. So either a quilting guide like this or the little one that comes with your machine, which looks like, it's not like this, not like that. But you can use this one, but there's a small one like that, a quilting guide. And you need to have your foot with a screw in the back. So these screws are what fall out, and you see it all over Facebook that people don't know what this is. And the screw holds your quilting guides in. I've shown you them before. So you need to choose your colour thread you want. You need to have a foot with a quilting guide. You need to fuse this. It needs to be hot of that iron. Fuse this really well so you're ready to go. And the only other thing you need to do to get it prepared is you get your ruler, and I want you to get your marker that washes out, and I want you to do two 45-degree angles. So if you look on your ruler and see your 45-degree angle there, I want you to draw a line, 45-degree angle. You can take that all the way along. And then I want you to cross it over so you get a 45-degree angle the other way. That's 30. Where's my 45? There's my 45. Okay, so I want you to have a cross hatch like that on your piece of fabric. So whether it's a plain fabric like this or it's your jeans, you're going to do the same thing and have it all fused ready to go. So if you can get that ready with your foot and your seam guide, choose the colour thread. I'm not convinced on that yet. I'm just going to have a think about that. I'm just going to have a think. I'm not sure. Get your thread ready and put on a jeans denim needle or a top stitching needle. We are going to show you next time how to quilt this, cut your shape out, how to pipe it and get it ready for your project. Okay? Shall I tease you just for one little more minute? When you've done that, we're then going to quilt some more and we're going to cut some shapes out, and we're going to do a bit of fun stitching and top stitching, and I'm going to teach you how to make your own designs off your machine, and we're also going to pipe that. But wait, there's more. Then I'm going to show you how to insert a zip and how to make a flap with piping and triple straight stitching, and how to make another little flap which has got double overlock and top stitching, and how to make these two little features here also with piping and top stitching. So it's a fun project. There's a lot to learn, and we're going to do it step by step, and I think you will love making it. So I'm doing two at the same time. So yeah, watch the space. I will be back showing you more of how to make your little project. So yeah, have fun.